So big news that just popped up yet again. We find out about Transformer product via retail instead of leaks, instead of Walmart listings. Although this one was kind of a Walmart listing thing. But the first time we get to see this product is not through stuff stolen from the factories or even Hasbro officially showing it to us. And it's funny, this always seems to be a Cyberverse thing. So we finally got to see what more or less is going to be the next wave of Cyberverse Deluxes. And what was interesting is we had this discussion back in July, and it was a Walmart listing from JT Prime 17, and he listed here that we were going to be getting a Deluxe Prowl, Soundwave, and Starscream. And I was like, that's interesting. Like, maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. Is there going to be a Build-A-Figure? Is this going to be the first 3 of a continuous wave of stuff? Because 3 is a very odd number. But lo and behold, at least these 3 are real. So we finally get to see them in package. These are clearly from probably some Southeast Asian location. And it's very fascinating what we get here because there's a lot to unpack, more or less. All we have is blurry in-package images right now, but those in-package images really tell us about what is going to be the gimmick this time around, despite the fact that it's also a better quality figure compared to everything else. So let's jump into these one at a time. So let's start with Prowl. Prowl is one of those characters that, despite the fact that he was a B to C list player in the Cyberverse cartoon, he has a lot of toys. And what's interesting about this one, and it's kind of a shame, is his character model in the show had a lot more of a muted, darker kind of blue all over his body. Only one of his actual toys in the Cyberverse show had a very lighter blue, and that was his One Step, which is probably anyone's least favorite version of the character anyways up to that point. So they went with a really strong light blue on his chest and a lot of other areas, but otherwise looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. It almost looks like the Siege toy, I'm telling you, or alternatively the Earthrise toy. Looks like they really probably used a lot of similar tooling. Now, one thing that's interesting is the way that they're doing the, I guess we could call it the packaging, promotion, and everything like that. All the deluxe Cyberverse toys up to this point had extra accessories that were usually energy weapons or energy blasts, very similar to that of what we get in Siege and Earthrise. But the other thing, too, that they used to advertise in the corner with the deluxe Cyberverse stuff was that of a Build-A-Figure. And that spot was always reserved for, hey, this is the Build-A-Figure, this is what we're going to be doing. And non-deluxe Cyberverse toys, that corner would be dedicated to advertising the gimmick that the character would have. Whether it be like, I'm going to turn my head and look at my Hot Rod one. Like the Hot Rod shot or some silliness or spin blade accessory or something. So at the end of the day, it pretty much confirms that these 3 Cyberverse Deluxes, Prowl, Soundwave, and Starscream, are not going to be part of some kind of Build-A-Figure initiative, which is kind of a shame. I was kind of hoping that the next Build-A-Figure would be Windblade because it would be very topical to the show. Spoiler for anyone who hasn't seen the rest of the show, you'll know what I'm talking about. So instead, what we know here is, at least looking at the gimmick, is that we know that he's going to come with his gun, because we could see it here in the packaging, and he's going to probably come with 2 energy accessories that go over his shoulder cannons to make his siren shot, as they call it here. Doesn't look like he has any other accessories, but chances are probably turns into a pretty wicked police car, nice robot mode. Hey, it's good to get another deluxe Cyberverse figure, even though it's someone like Prowl that's had tons of figures, tons, like way more than anyone on the show that isn't a A-class player in it. Next, we have Soundwave. Soundwave was a bit of a big deal in the show. Definitely prone to a lot of repaints due to one episode with a certain Quintesson, but otherwise, really cool character. What we could see from this is it looks like in the packaging he comes with some kind of laser beak. I don't know if it's transformable. It might just be an accessory, but it's still pretty cool that he comes with laser beak. Also looks like he comes with his shoulder cannon, and judging by the way that the accessory gimmick is here, it says here Sound Blast. Chances are he probably gets an energy accessory that probably attaches to a shoulder cannon to make the Sound Blast accessory. What does he transform into? Probably what Cyberverse Soundwave is transformed into up to this point, which is a knot truck, if you will. not, like whatever, I don't know how to describe it, some kind of van in general. I'm not, I'm a mechanic, but I'm not 100% in line with all my van technology. It's not an Econo line, I can tell you that much, and it's not an SUV. It's something really in between in a lot of ways. But either way, again, looks kind of cool. Maybe, I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe he might, like, I'm just trying to like see what he could potentially turn into, because he had a warrior class toy that turned into something that kind of looked like a Hummer but kind of didn't. So I'm trying to see if maybe it's something similar to that. But still looks really cool. I dig it. Again, hey, Soundwave, awesome. And who knows, maybe someone will be bold and buy a whole bunch of these and do a crazy army of Soundwave repaints. Again, if you haven't seen season 3, you know what I'm talking about. And last but not least, the least surprising of the bunch, we finally got our Starscream. And Starscream looks like he comes with his null rays, looks like he comes with some energy weapon stuff, and he also comes with the Seeker Strike energy accessory, which looks like 3 missiles attached to 1. Looks really cool. He looks great. Really matches how he looked in season 1 and season 2, and even his slight retooling that he got in season 3. Looks really nice. I dig it. We know what's going to probably happen with this guy. He's probably going to be repainted like crazy if they continue with this. There's only 1 million Seekers in the Cyberverse show, and a lot of them, despite their gender, usually have a very similar kind of body type. So they could really milk this mold as much as they want, and I'm surprised they didn't do it earlier. Again, I've talked about this in the past, but I'm surprised this just wasn't the initiative moving forward with the Cyberverse toy line. I find it very fascinating how every time we have any kind of Hasbro panels or Fan First Fridays, or even before the craziness of the Big V when it hit, we had New York Toy Fair, and there just wasn't a public push for this product. There's a lot of talk about the War for Cybertron stuff. There's a lot of talk about movie stuff. They really put this, the stuff that's on television to the back burner on the side. And I mean, the fact that we find out about so much Cyberverse product, not from official announcements from Hasbro or anything, but just from it being found in retail, says a lot about Hasbro's, I guess, place and their feelings about this line in general, because this line, in all honesty, should have been a deluxe class line from the get-go. I mean, when I look, just go look at all the different Prowl toys we got up to that point, and it's kind of, I don't know, sad. It's kind of sad more than anything, because you go like, okay, like here's this B-list character Prowl. How many toys are we're gonna make a one-step? No one cares about those. We're gonna make the Warrior class. Why do the Warrior class when we could have a deluxe? We're gonna do the Ultra class, which was like a very, I don't know, it's a very limited, higher price point, but limited articulation with a little bit of a stealth force gimmick involved. And then they did obviously the battle class, which had the armor, and that was okay, I guess. And then we had the Quintesson Invasion pack, which again, that's a gimmick pack. And then we had the tiny turbo changers. He had so many. So I don't know. I really hope that we get a Windblade at some point. I really hope we get other characters. I mean, even Cheetor. Cheetor was such a big part of season 3, and he had one toy, and it wasn't really that great. So, and it was an expensive price point. So it really makes me wonder, like, what were they thinking when they were putting this line together, and why they didn't get behind it stronger than they did. I mean, we still have 2 TV movies that are supposedly to come, according to some leaked information from United Kingdom magazines. But hopefully this leads to more product. Cyberverse had a lot of potential. It was very enjoyable. Good voice acting, good character, good stories. Just a little short, both in structure and in really runtime, if you really add up all the episodes. Just a little short. But let me know what you think. Very interesting stuff here. Very interesting stuff. I know I'm excited about it. I pick up anything of these Cyberverse Deluxes just because I feel that these will be the standards of these characters moving forward. And I think a lot of people in the long run are not going to care about the warrior class scales of stuff or the one-step class scales of stuff. There's really not going to be a market for that in the future. Sure, there'll be some kind of crazy completist, but in general, there won't be a market for that kind of stuff. So the deluxes really are the go-to if you're interested in this series. And anyways, let me know what you think. Really cool stuff. We got a stream tonight, guys. So be sure to come by and check that out and hang out, and we'll talk Transformers and maybe, elaborate more on even this story tonight.